Patch notes. Let's see what Capcom has to say here. Let's take a look at Luke. Crouching medium punch, my favorite attack, you know? Goes full screen and always hits the opponent. Great. 3 frames of recovery added when the attack misses. Now that is huge. The size of the feet hurt boxes between frames 6 and 24 has been expanded. Oof. So you can actually whiff punish it a lot easier. Like frame 24, by the way, means like frame 6 till 24. So once it becomes active until the recovery, there's an expanded lower hurt box now. Very good. So the attack is slower to recover now. While it's recovering, there's a massive hurt box now that you can hit. Great. The size of the arm hurt box from frames 19 onwards has been expanded. Okay, even the hurt box on the like the upper hurt box has been expanded as well. This is really good. This is a absolutely necessary adjustment right here. This move was the reason why Luke was top tier. Like, let's be real about that. This is one of the reasons why he was so good. You could just spam this move, there was nothing that could go wrong, and you just option select into drive rush cancel. How are you supposed to lose? Now you actually have to use your brain. Welcome Blast, Super 1. The size of the body hurt box between frames 1 and 5 have been expanded. Oh yeah, so I mean the only hurt box that he has is the projectile hurt box, right? He cannot get thrown and he can also not get hit. So the only hurt box that exists on frame 1 till 5 is against projectiles. So if you throw projectile now at Luke, it's much more likely to get stuffed by the projectile. Okay, Jamie, let's go. Honestly, Jamie needs the most amount of work. Backshaver, forward throw. This forward throw has had a follow-up attack added that raises your drink level. Okay, see, this is something I've already seen as well. So there's a drink that you can get from that. Continue to hold down the throw input after the throw connects to perform the follow-up. Okay, break-in, Super 1. The damage of the normal version has been changed from 2100 to 2200. Very minor. The damage of the follow-up version has been changed from 1750, okay, 100 damage more. The damage now matches the drink level 2 version of the move. Pushback on hit is no longer applied when this move lands on an opponent in the corner. Okay, so you actually get better Oki off of that. Will now down an opponent for 5 frames longer than before. Better Oki again. Okay, the Devil's Song. This is the drink level super. If the drink level has been raised prior to activation of this move, the drink level will now return to that value when the effect of this move ends. Wait a minute. The Super 2 of Jamie was just temporary, and after the attack, it would go back to no drinks? Wait, how long was the effect? I thought it lasted until the end of the round. Nope, it was an install. Okay, wait, so it was an install and then you would lose all of the levels that you had prior? You keep the drinks you already drank. Yeah, but that's new that you keep them. It was lose all drink when Super 2 was over. That's absolutely mind-blowingly bad. You lose all of your drinks if you use Super. What? Wow, I actually can't believe that's how it worked. Oh, okay, unless you already had drink 4. Okay. Still, that was terrible. What were they thinking? I almost can't believe that's how it worked. Not that many changes, but a couple of important ones. So, the way I read this is, you reach levels quicker now with Jamie, which is important for him. And Super 2 is not completely useless. Is that about right? And command throws are slightly better, but honestly, in a normal situation, I don't think it actually changes much. So these are minor changes, you know? Okay, the big one now. Let's take a look at Ryu. Overdrive Shoryuken. Change the first hit's effect from a knockdown to a blowback. I gotta test that. What does that actually mean? A blowback, so the opponent gets knocked down, like on the ground, if he gets only hit by the first one. Previously, Ryu had the problem that if you were really far away from your opponent, you would frequently get into a situation where the first hit of Ryu's OD Shoryuken would hit, and then the second would whiff, and the opponent would get a full punish on it. If that is no longer possible because they changed the effect on the first hit, then that would be a change I absolutely welcome. I don't even know how many times I've died because the OD Shoryuken would only hit once. So that's very much appreciated. Solar Plexus Strike. By the way, quote from Endingwalker, Solar Plexus is completely useless. That's what he says, okay? Let's see what changes they have in mind here. The proximity block detection hitbox has been expanded to the edge of the attack's hitbox between frames 2 to 18. Note, if an opponent is inputting a direction away from you while in the proximity block detection hitbox area, then they will block rather than move away from you. Okay, that's actually pretty good, because that means it is a lot harder for my opponent, to walk away from Solar Plexus and then whiff punish it. Yeah. So you can't walk away from Solar Plexus anymore and then go for a big punish. This makes it much more useful. I like that. Light Hashogeki. Recovery on block has been adjusted from -4 to -3. Okay, see? Everybody who said, oh, it's plus on block now, Jimmy. Jimmy, did you see Light Hashogeki is plus on block? And I said, guys, that's not what the footage said. The footage said it's not punishable to 4-frame moves anymore. That's what I saw. And my first instinct was they made it -3 instead of -4. They didn't make it +1. Imagine they went from -4 to +1 on block. I'd be spamming the shit out of that move, okay? Anyways, making it -3 makes it a lot more useful. There are a lot of cases where you want to test your opponent and whether they want to hit buttons, and you couldn't easily do that without putting yourself at risk. So now I'm much more likely, this is going to be very useful. Like, whenever I'm doing like a light punch string, sometimes I will go and I will end in light punch and then light kick into a fireball, for example. And strong opponents would actually hit you out of that light kick because the gap is too big. So whenever that happens from a smart opponent, you can now like mess with them with the light Hashogeki. After the light punch, instead of doing light kick, you just do light Hashogeki. They will actually get hit and bounce back, and then you get a follow-up with a drive rush. Very useful. Very useful. This is big. Meaty Hashogeki should be a lot more useful now as well. Let's see. Okay, the knockback on block has been decreased, which is good. The knockback on block while in burnout has been increased. Oh, that's interesting. The distance covered between the end of the active frames and the end of the recovery has been decreased. So it doesn't go as far anymore, which is not good though. Or is it? I'll have to test what it feels like nowadays. Medium Hashogeki. The attack hitbox has been expanded forward. That's pretty nice. Projectile clash hitbox has been expanded forward. Oh, it will trade more easily now. Okay. But not the light one. The light one would have been a lot more useful to trade though. Heavy Hashogeki. The attack hitbox has been expanded forward. The attack, this is good by the way, because you can trap, like you can do drive rush into heavy Hashogeki traps, and that's going to be make it more likely to work. The projectile clash hitbox has been expanded. The knockback on block has been decreased. This is really important because this move is actually not minus, so this is what you want. The distance covered between the end of the active frames and the end okay, so all of the Hashogekis have been adjusted slightly, which is interesting. Overdrive Hashogeki. The attack hitbox has been expanded forward. The projectile clash hitbox has this doesn't matter much though. The knockback on block has been decreased. This is good. The knockback on hit has been decreased. Overall good, but I don't think the OD Hashogeki needed many changes. Like, seems like to me, this doesn't change much. Denjin Charge Hashogeki. The attack hitbox has been expanded. The projectile clash hitbox has been expanded. Okay, same thing here as well. The damage of the overdrive version has been changed from 600 to 1000. Ooh, that's actually good. It's gonna make it more likely for me to do that. The distance covered between the end of the active frames. Oh yeah, so a lot of standard changes, by the way, like a lot of changes that were made, that were specifically made for all of the versions of the move to stay consistent. OD Hasho into level 2 hits like a truck now. I can imagine, yeah. This is something we should consider now a lot more. Hadoken, the size of the hurt box around the arms has been reduced. Oh, I can feel the power, guys. Fireball actually useful. No, but for real, this looks like a small change, but honestly, it was one of the biggest problems that Ryu had. What does that mean? It means that Ken cannot do OD Shoryuken from full screen away if he sees a projectile on the screen. Previously, Ryu had his hurt box expanded so far forward that any character from really far away could punish it if they had an invincible move. And the reason why they could punish it was not because of the recovery, it was because of the hurt box that was expanded forward so dramatically you could clip Ryu from anywhere. So nowadays, if I'm throwing a fireball against, let's say, a Ken player who's trying to buffer EX or OD Shoryuken, they're gonna have to be faster doing that, because they have to be closer in order for it to work. Flash kick as well. It's just an example because Ken was pretty good at doing that against Ryu. Just an example. So this applies to anything, you know? This applies to reaction super from DJ against a fireball as well. Just as an example, like anytime somebody's trying to blast through a fireball from Ryu with a super, they're gonna have to be quicker now because my hurt box is not as expanded. So that's pretty good. Shinku Hadoken. Super. The size of the hurt box around the arms have been reduced. Same thing here. This actually makes it possible to whiff punish players a little bit more consistently. I mean, when I say whiff punish, I mean, let's say I want to clip someone with the... I wonder if that's gonna work. We'll see, we'll see. Like, it might make it possible to do super against a projectile more easily because you're not gonna get clipped as easily. But we'll see. Anyways, those are the changes. Not many changes, but a couple of key ones, you know? Hashogeki, overall, every version has been made better. Solar Plexus is actually a lot more useful the way it is now. And if Overdrive Shoryuken does not whiff like a bitch anymore, then I'm gonna be happy about that, you know? Yeah, I like the changes. And those are just the minor changes, you know? Supposedly a lot more is coming later on. So I'm curious to see what's going to change after that. That's pretty good. After hurt box has been expanded as well. So it's more easily to whiff punch that move. Crouching heavy punch. The invincibility to mid-air attacks that this move applied to the upper body has been removed. Wait, so the crouching heavy punch, is that his anti-air attack thing that he does if you jump at him from like a normal range? Is that his regular jump and attack thing? I thought it was crouching medium punch this whole time, but I guess it's crouching hard punch, right? So now it will always trade? That's a huge nerf. That's a big change. That's a massive nerf to JP. That was his only anti-air option. And now he doesn't get to reliably anti-air with it anymore. I mean, I'm not gonna complain about that one, okay? But I'm surprised. So even if you know an attack is coming, a jump in is coming, you won't be able to easily do something about that. Any nerf to his anti-air is huge, I agree. Okay. Normal / overdrive amnesia. Adjusted the immediate scaling value from 15% to fucking 60%. Jesus Christ, what? Capcom is like, okay, if you land Amnesia, you are not allowed to do any damage after that. That's huge. Now has an initial scaling value of 50%. Okay, they basically deleted that move. But honestly, this was necessary. It's not actually deleting the move, it's just that if you use Amnesia, then your goal is not to do damage with it. Your goal is to get out of a tough spot. And it still gets you out of a tough spot, you know? It still does that. But you're not allowed to kill your opponent from there, you know? Okay, so performing super on a knockback opponent will now cause the projectile generated from catching an opponent's attack with this move to detonate quicker. I find this odd though. So the OD Amnesia will detonate quicker if you perform a super. But why? And what's the effect gonna be? It's a bit odd. After successfully catching an opponent's attack with this move with the OD Amnesia, JP's super gauge will not increase until either the generated projectile is gone or until the current combo ends. That's a big nerf on top of that as well. So basically, if you're close to super and you do OD Amnesia, let's say you have like almost 3 bars, but not quite, and you do OD Amnesia, no matter what, you will not actually build the level 3. Those are huge nerfs, I have to say. I was not expecting that. The drive gauge increase for drive pairing or perfect pairing, the overdrive version of this move, has been changed from 2,500 twice to 5,000 twice. The drive gauge increase for drive pairing or perfect pairing, the overdrive version of this move, has doubled. If you parry this, you get double the drive gauge now. That's a huge nerf. Huge nerf to JP. Fixed an issue resulting in unintended behavior for the projectile when on the edge of the screen. Okay, whatever. Fixed an issue where the projectile would not disappear when this move clashed with an opponent's super. Okay. I have to say, like, this is a huge list of nerfs to OD Amnesia. I can't, like, if the other characters don't get nerfed, I don't think JP is viable anymore just from those changes. If you're thinking about, okay, who am I going to be playing? I mean, you know what? I mean, I was just thinking about Luke. I was like, okay, how are Luke players supposed to be stopped now? And then I realized crouching medium punch was absolutely destroyed, right? I guess Ken is the one who didn't get major nerfs so far. Okay, overdrive departure. Is that the portal? I think that's the portal, right? Now has an initial scaling value of 20%. Okay, I have no clue what the scaling was before, but now it has more scaling. The drive gauge increase for drive pairing or perfect pairing, a normal version of this move, has been changed from 5,000 to 7,500. So this is really, really good, by the way, guys. Like, all of this means that while you're defending against JP from full screen away, the probability of you getting burned out is much lower. Previously, Ryu, for example, if I stayed full screen away and I just tried to parry his attacks and try to be patient, I would get burned out super easily. And now that's not going to happen anymore because you'll be gaining a lot more drive gauge. The drive gauge increase for drive pairing or perfect pairing, the overdrive version of this move, has been changed to, yeah, so it has been increased as well, significantly. Wow, those are massive nerfs to JP that I was not looking for. Like, I was not ready for that. I honestly didn't think they were going to be nerfing JP this much. Rashid, after wall jumps. I think, by the way, like, during Capcom Cup, I've said it a couple of times, but I think Rashid is the best character in the game at the moment. So, if I don't see a list of nerfs right now, I'm going to be shocked. After wall jumps. Fixed an issue where performing certain techniques after a wall jump would not put Rashid into a forced knockdown state even after getting hit with an attack. Okay, that's a nerf. Standing light punch, the size of the hurt box. Okay, see, like, this is in line with the other light punch changes. More punishable. Overdrive spinning mixer. The third attack is now invincible to mid-air attacks until the end of its active frames. Honestly, this was kind of necessary. It's a buff, but it was shockingly bad. Like, the OD spinning mixer was so bad. The fact that you could do it early on, and then you got hit out of it, like the way it used to be. I'm honestly happy this was changed because it was ridiculous the way it worked before. Level 2 super. Okay, if I don't see a massive nerf right here, I'm gonna lose my mind, okay? Okay, let me try to get mentally ready for disappointment. 3, 2, 1, go. Fixed an issue where the whirlwind wouldn't display as intended when lingering in its final stage. I was ready for disappointment, but I still couldn't handle it, guys. So they didn't fix anything. That's it. That was everything. What? Guys, okay, I'm calling it right now. Rashid, with this current patch, is completely busted. Completely busted. If I don't see every other player play Rashid, if I don't see 50% of my opponents in tournament play Rashid, I'm gonna be shocked, okay? Capcom, please. Exactly. Almost 1 year for this. No, this is not the big balance. The balance patch is coming with Akuma. These are just minor adjustments from Capcom. But still, like, if you take a look at the adjustments that they applied to JP, seeing this is very disappointing. Okay, like, let's try to get a quick summary, okay? What characters actually got changed? Because most characters didn't really get changed much, right? Just to take a look at all the characters. Luke got nerfed, clearly got nerfed. Jamie clearly got buffed in good ways. Ryu clearly got buffed in good ways. Ken, minor nerfs, but not that big of a deal. It's a mixed bag. Some of the stuff even got buffed. Zangief got buffed. Chun-Li, what did Chun-Li get actually? Got nerfed slightly, but only really slightly. DJ got nerfed very slightly. Dawson got buffed for the most part, right? Yeah. Yeah. Blanca only got bug fixes, didn't really change much. Manon got slight buffs. JP got massive nerfs. Rashid got minor nerfs and one buff with the OD spinning mixer, right? And Aki got a list of buffs. So, like, what does that actually mean for the tier list? Ryu is gonna be better now, but Jamie is gonna be better as well, and I think Ryu struggles against Jamie. I think there's no way JP is top tier with this current patch. This is something that I'm gonna be calling right now. JP got nerfed into the ground with these changes, almost certainly. Like, there's no way JP can keep up with the rest of the cast, even with the nerfs to the strong characters, you know? Rashid, I think, is now even more clearly the best character in the game. I think he was the best character in the game previously. I think now he doesn't even have any kind of competition. And Aki is probably slightly better, but for the most part the same. But she's probably okay. She's probably okay. They fixed the matchmaking. I was not expecting the patch notes to be like that, to be honest. I was really expecting more, more changes, I guess. But I wasn't expecting all of these changes to JP. JP is just got brutally destroyed. Oh, battle settings is now possible to select a range? Wait, what? Confirm upon... Oh, select range. Search range got added. What? Oh, wow. What? But wait, I don't understand what that means. Are you telling me that previously the search range was set to limited only? If you had a connection quality to 4 to 5, it would still not connect to a player that was a little bit further away, even if the 4 to 5 range applied? I mean, how does that even work? Like, if I set worldwide and now I set connection to 4 to 5, isn't that not gonna give me the same opponents? I'm gonna test that, honestly, I'm gonna test that. Aim Kid, good to see you. Yeah, Aim Kid, we can play ranked now, let's go. Let's go. I think this is mostly useful for players who need a wider range because of, well, less players in their specific areas, right? Like, if you set connection to all and search range to worldwide, I'm assuming you'll actually be able to get matched up against anyone. And maybe for some people, this is actually necessary to set, depending on where exactly they live. I'm gonna set worldwide 4 to 5 bars and see what happens. Oh, that's an interesting change. I like that.